Are these bigger?
Yes.
Is bigger, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you
Well,
asking
and I
about?
didn't really tell her.
If my, you know, because I'm turning 42, so I was wondering if they
Just
got
making
bigger.
sure if
Are
they got bigger or if
Are
you
these
did.
Bigger? And welcome back to the Riley Black Project, Crystal and John.
Hi.
Man, we're full mode over here.
We are.
Panic mode. Not panic mode. But,
No, it's panic mode.
But
You can call it that.
But so, depending on when you're watching this, if you're on Patreon and you're watching it when it comes out on Friday,
Yeah.
or if you're a general admission person and it's a Monday, the conference is days away.
Yeah.
Just days away. And
My stomach just...
and we're over here counting thingies and and mock
so many.
packing to see what fits where,
Yeah.
what gets shipped. After the recording of this episode, all of this gets packed up. Not this part.
No, this
but,
stays.
But we have a mobile setup, new mics and everything that we got for the conference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting time. So let's first just go ahead, and this episode is sponsored by
Katie with Monarch Pine,
Pines.
who's going to be at the conference, by the way.
Well, everyone's going to be at the conference, hopefully.
almost-
Everybody.
A lot of my favorite people are coming. There's a couple
All of my favorite people are coming. You
couple
too.
of my faves.
You. Yes, I'm talking to you. You're my favorite person, and I can't wait to see you at the conference. Come by and say hi and
my
buy some
God.
keychain things.
Yes, please, because we spent a lot of money getting it
I'll
ready.
be pushing keychain things for the next 2 weeks.
No, for the rest of the year. We're not stopping. Anyway, Katie with Monarch Pine gave everybody 10% off with code Riley Black off her Etsy. So monarchpine.etsy.com.
Yes. So if you are not going to the conference, just go ahead and
You're missing out.
you can miss this episode because this is all conference all the time, including
It's going to make the FOMO really strong.
including and it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Unless you just like pop up in Tulsa.
And they're going to be like,
show
sorry,
up and be like,
no
hey,
dice.
I got some money here. Can I come in?
Yeah,
then-
I will have to ask, but
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
that you can buy them at the door.
Well, luckily, we have the right guest to ask. Welcome back to the show. The men, the myths, the legends. Will and Mark. How's
Hey,
it going, guys?
Hey.
What is up? Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Oh,
Of course.
anytime. And I wonder what we're going to talk about on this episode. With Mark
Maybe
and
this
Will.
like big event that's coming
Yes.
up.
The most recent tech that Will bought. That's we'll
Oh
talk
man,
about
Yes.
that.
that's,
I mean,
that could
what's
be
that?
an episode in
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, he's got some jump houses over there. He's
Right.
got lasers.
And furniture
If
and
it's on
I mean-
sale on Marketplace.
right.
Yes, the Roland.
Oh yeah, the sticker, the vinyl
sticker
cutter.
printer.
Yeah.
You know, I was buying a hand sander, and they told me to meet them at their storage unit, and I said
Dangerous.
I brought $10 cash, and they were like, "Hey, what do you do?" I had my hat on, and I was explaining to them,
Bless
and
you.
they said, "Hey,
Thank you.
I have this Roland sticker printer vinyl plotter cutter thing that's sitting in a box, brand new, hasn't been used for the last 8 months. Are you interested in it?" And I looked it up. I had no idea what I would do with it, and I said, oh, "Okay, these are about $5,000." You know, and I said,
Right.
"Well, I have no use for it, but what's your price?" And they gave me a number, and I was like, "Oh, I just can't. It would just sit here in my place instead of your storage."
Right.
And they just negotiated against themselves. Right? They started at 2,500 and just kept bringing their price down.
Well, they
and said,
saw that you were considering it, and they're like, "Let's see
What
what
would you get
his
for it?
what
Wait,
his
wait, wait.
price
Before you
is."
finish the story, you came with for a hand sander for $10.
$10. Yes.
And they're adding on a Roland $5,000 print. That's where we're at so far, right?
Yes.
O-
Yes.
Okay, just so I'm clear where we're at. All right.
And I said, "Well, you know, it's just that's out of my budget. I have no use for this." And he chose to negotiate down himself. He's like, "Well, what if we did 2,200?" I said, and he just kept going lower and lower. And I didn't throw a number out there, which was the weirdest negotiation I've ever had. Usually I have to throw some low number out there and then meet in the middle. And he says,
Right.
"You know what? The lowest I'll take is if you give me $1,000, it's yours today." And I said, "I have 10. I'll Venmo you. And that's why I have it. So, yep, I'll be using that, in the next 2 years or so.
Well, and that's like, if that's not girl math, like, because you go, like Mark said,
Yeah.
you go to spend $10 and you spend $1,010, but it's a savings.
Yeah.
I saved $4,000.
He saved
Kinda.
$4,000,
But he wasn't gonna buy it. He wasn't in the market.
exactly. That's why it's girl math.
If you would, just in case I decide to sell this, please cut this out of the market, out of the podcast, because it is on sale for $3,500.
Yeah, right. I'll bleep out the amounts.
No, you can ship it to us and we'll take it off your hands if you're not going to use it.
And so
Because-
the next set,
Oh,
you
sticker
guys are going to
thing,
be inside like a bouncy house, from Will. Right?
Okay, wait.
Well,
Are you bringing the
mean-
bouncy houses to the conference?
No, but we have a dunk tank.
Oh,
So that's
yeah,
a fun one.
but like I'm not getting in the dunk tank.
But a bouncy dunk tank.
But I'll get in the bouncy house.
I'll bring my swimsuit. I'll get in the dunk tank.
Oh, you're going
raise,
in.
Raise some money.
Oh.
You're going
And
in.
broadcast
Is there-
from inside the dunk tank.
that would be good.
Waterproof cameras, waterproof GoPro.
Yeah.
There you
I got
go.
my GoPro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay. So the dunk tank's going to be fun. It's going to be great. We're doing it to raise money for Real Okie Superheroes, which is a cosplay group here in Tulsa that goes and visits sick kids in the hospital. It's really great. We're going to
Yeah,
interview
it's
them.
awesome.
I will tell you, John, you are more than welcome to join the group. I would say, since Will's in charge of the scheduling of the dunk tank, ask him for later in the evening on Saturday,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they're filling it Saturday morning. It is going to be cold.
Yeah.
that's why I'm in first.
When it
I thought- was
obviously
you?
it has to
I
be
thought it was me.
outside,
Is it
right?
you? What?
Yeah.
It's going to be outside.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But it's 500 gallons of water. It's going to take a while to get
Yeah.
warm.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe I'll rethink that. No
Yeah.
cold plunges.
Yeah.
It is
Just-
going to
you
be
just schedule on
170
the-
degrees in
Yeah.
Tulsa.
It's going to be what?
It's going to be 172 degrees in
It's
Tulsa.
going to feel
so.
like it. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see.
Yes.
Tentatively.
Actually, we looked at
Tempted.
the weather. It looks like it's going to be beautiful,
Yeah,
like
it really is.
mid 80s.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful weather for Tulsa at that time of year. So we're
I need to
excited
check
about
Denver too,
Yeah. You
because
do.
Denver's either like
could be snowing,
decent
yeah.
or yeah. If it was May, it could snow,
Right.
but it won't snow in June. But it could either be like decent weather or like I call it now. I'm trying to kill you hot because
yeah.
you're so close to the sun. It hurts.
It's like
It's painful.
that. I'll be in Denver on the way to Tulsa. My
Oh, so
layover is in Denver.
I'm going, straight from Tulsa to Denver after the conference. So,
and I'm coming home.
yep, he's going to be with the boys. And yeah,
Well,
And Mark and
we-
I will be sleeping in July.
I bet you
I
need to
know.
turn off your phone for
Yeah.
several days.
Right.
Well, I'm going to Atlanta to hang out with the Patels the
Oh, nice.
second week of July. But other than that, yeah, I'm sleeping for the month. That's
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Well, and I love how I saw someone posted in the group or something. One of the groups, when's the next one? And that was triggering to me, and I'm not even planning the conference, so I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah, the
whoa,
next one. Let's
let
get
him
through this one.
Exactly.
So I can say on behalf of Will, I can say first of all, we are more excited about this than anything we've ever done.
Right.
Full stop. And I've never done anything this hard in my life.
Right.
Not even close. And we don't regret it. It's nothing like that. We're
Right,
super
right.
excited. But the amount of work that some of it we've chosen to put on ourselves.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
But still,
Yeah, it's like getting
right
a
before
tattoo.
we went,
Like you chose that pain. It'll be worth it when it's done. But then
Yes.
getting
As long as
through
someone's-
it,
But
as long as
They-
someone spells it right, it's good, right?
right, no regrets.
but their first one, their first one was like their forearm.
yeah.
Then their second one was like the top sleeve.
right.
And
This
then now
one's a
this
full
one,
back piece.
yeah. Now this one they're going for the full back, like
Right.
they're just doing it all. Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser ready blanks.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9 to 5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon Laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
I think we're most excited about this one because with each of one, right? So Sacramento, we were so new, we had no clue what we were doing.
Right.
We do on Dallas, we had a lot of limitations, right? With
Right.
the hotel being half full. I think
Yeah.
what makes this one so exciting for us is we're actually able to fully execute the
Took it
vision
over.
that we have.
Yeah.
You know, we want to include not just the content part. We want the environment to be a certain way. We want the excitement, the connections, and Tulsa being in, because I get that a lot. Why Tulsa? Why Tulsa? I think a lot of
Well,
it is one, it's Mark's
Obviously,
backyard.
Mark's there.
And with it being there, with the connections he has, the ability to utilize resources that he has out there,
Right.
this is the first time we're going to be able to fully execute a vision on an event that we want.
Right.
And I think you're going to see and feel a complete difference from even the first two you were at, that this is going to be truly stamped like this is what we're pushing for these types of events.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot. So we can't. You guys go ahead and fire off any questions you have about it. But we, for everybody, if anybody out there doesn't know much about it, we'd love to tell you about it. Unfortunately, it is sold out. So
Right.
sorry for the FOMO there, but
So if they show up, like we mentioned in the intro, if they show up in Tulsa,
Cash in hand. Will's letting them in. Will, you see, Will's letting. Yep, they're letting them. So there you go.
Okay, so
Just
we're not
show up,
encouraging the
cash in
behavior.
hand. I am.
but
So there's a stay here price. There always is a stay here price. Come on in.
is it like selling a rolling printer? Like
it's very much girl math. Well,
Yeah.
you're here. I didn't tell you to come, but
Right.
the official
since you're
answer is
here and you have money in my face, no,
the
go ahead.
official
And take
answer
it.
is we are sold out. That is the official answer.
Okay, all right.
Because I mean, our hearts, no kidding, our hearts are to take care of people, obviously, but
Right.
but really we are sold out. And there's a lot of things related to that. But yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
going to move on from that one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys, I guess, what is the thing well, it's probably hard for you to choose, but like, what are the things you're most excited about?
You know, Will, I know we've probably got a couple different ones. I'll run with one and you run with one too, because you're right. We can't pick
Yeah.
one.
Right.
I am really excited about one that you're involved in. Is our we call it Ask Us Anything or Ask Me Anything. I keep going. Is it
Ask Me
AMA or
Anything,
AUA? Like whatever.
AMA sounds, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I think that's going to be the initial subtle big hit for a lot of people. I think because someone's ability to just walk up and ask you a question, something
Right.
that they've really been concerned about, something they don't know how to do,
Right.
as opposed to sitting. I'm not saying this is bad at all,
Right.
but sitting in maybe a 90-minute class where maybe you had two questions and maybe you didn't get those answered, or maybe you did, whatever.
Right.
But now you can just say, hey, I never knew how to use this tool in Procreate or Illustrator or Inkscape,
Right.
or whatever. and you just find out directly from an expert, face to face. I think that's going to be huge win for so many people.
Right.
I really do.
Well, and I will say that the first two conferences, after the classes, there was always those people who didn't feel comfortable asking in front of the class. There was a people who had specific questions about specific files they were working on. You know, they would always catch me at like lunch hour or when I was at the vendor table or when I wasn't teaching or whatever. And they would ask me, you know, just random silhouette questions like, why does this happen when I try to do this? Or why won't this weld to this when I'm trying to do this? And, you know, I can tell them until I'm blue in the face that you need to make sure that it's a compound path and that you don't have these other things grouped in there and whatever before welding. But that, especially to someone who's a beginner or isn't super comfortable with the software, which to be honest, with any software, it takes several years. And so if you're just starting out and you're in your first couple years, you know, you could have the instructions right, but you may be missing one tiny little step, and that one tiny little step makes the difference between why it works and why it doesn't. For the longest time, I never knew if I needed to subtract or crop and like what layer the one that I'm subtracting needs to be on, because I would do it and sometimes it would work and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And then sometimes I would do it and it wouldn't work and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, I'm doing the same steps. Why does it work sometimes and why doesn't it? And it was probably my layers. So little things like that you figure out with practice and trial and error. But when you've had the situation where it works and then now it won't work and you feel like you're doing the same thing, it's really frustrating because, you know, you can look up the steps until you're blue in the face and still miss that little piece. So it's for those little pieces for them to walk up and be like, why can't I do this? Or how do I do this? Or, you know, what am I missing?
Sometimes there's also that thing where you take 5 steps to do something. You're like, there's got to be an easier way.
Right. And sometimes it really does take 5 steps. And sometimes
there's
a way to do it in 2. Yeah. Yep.
I think that's huge. I think being able to just talk to you guys directly and ask your question.
Right.
And then, of course, let me say this other thing that for people who don't know maybe how we have it set up. So we've got, I have trouble saying the plural of booth, by the way.
Booths.
Yeah. That one. We have those areas set up for everyone. And so we've got big screen TVs. We've got 55-inch TVs there for each teacher. And so they'll be able to show you, but and you can walk up and ask the teacher a question, but everyone else can watch also. Like there's no limit. Like, there can be a crowd of people. You can pull out your phone. You can take a picture of the screen. You can video it if you want to. But it's 1-to-1, but it can also be 1-to-10. Like it doesn't really matter. And I think that level of connection is going to be really, really cool. So that's what I'm excited about. Will, what are you excited about, Will?
Yeah, well, just to double back on that too, was when you're in a class, like you said, sometimes, you know, you'll get some great aha moments and it might hit for some, it might not hit for others. When you come up and you ask your question, you're leaving with an automatic aha moment.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone is going to get those aha moments for themselves, which is
the aha
powerful.
Moments are what pay for the conference for themselves.
Yes.
I will never forget. It was like one of the first few classes. It might have even been the first class where they learned, and it was something seemingly small to me. I'm just running through a project and whatever I showed them was like a light bulb, mind blown moment for them. And they walked up to me after the class and was like, what you showed me in that moment, one little step, whatever it was, paid for the whole conference for them. And I was like, that is insane to me that I had that power, as weird as that sounds, that what they learned in that, 10 minutes of that 90-minute class was enough to make the investment into the conference worth it. And then the best part is that usually there's like 10 of those moments, if not more, throughout the whole conference that it's like, okay, this is what made it worth it, but then this happened, and then this happened, and then,
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser tested and laser approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte, anything matte, and I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit HoustonAcrylic.com.
Do it.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more.
We have a ton of content ready for people, and we're gonna give it all to them. But we also know we can't predict when those are going to be, right? Because of course everyone comes with different needs, different personalities, different whatever dreams and goals and everything,
different connections.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're super excited about that. Will, what's something else that sticks out to you?
The great content, you're going to get a lot of information, but I think still for me, and when I speak to people who've been to the other conferences, the connections, being around like-minded individuals.
Yep.
We're going to have over 600 people there.
Yeah.
So, and just knowing that,
and anxiety inducing all at once.
I just see dollar signs. Come on, stop by the keychain thingies booth.
Keychain thingies.
Listen, there's an agenda here. This podcast isn't just for you guys, okay? We need to move thingies. So I
exactly. So support keychain thingies.
Oh my God. Packing up approximately, I think we said this on the post show. We didn't say it on here. So we're bringing approximately 60,000 keychain thingies, not including the charms, some of my new blanks, metal keychain blanks. We're bringing scrapers with our logo on them.
Just thingies. We're bringing merch.
Merch. We're bringing all that stuff. But just thingies, it's 60K of those little plastic pieces. Yeah. And when you pack them up in little baggies and then you put them in big baggies, it looks like other things.
We're gonna need to put a note inside the bag for when TSA opens it up,
which I did last year.
Listen, I know what this must look like to you guys in the X-ray, but
not what you think.
It's not.
And especially coming out of Florida.
We're gonna put some examples of what it is as well, so they're not like, what are these things? We're gonna have an actual keychain in the bag attached to the note. This is what it's for. These are what these are for. Yeah. So that is clear.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
I promise.
It's not illegal. So don't stop them at the airport.
Right. Yeah. I'm ready for my bags to be searched.
So I feel like the question is what is a day gonna look like at the conference?
Yeah.
So our days are very similar. There's some changes to each of them, right? But the way that we did differently for this conference versus the last ones is we understand that there's something to the energy of having everyone in a big general session, right? Having 550 people in there where we're feeding off the energy. And I guess the best way that we've described it is TED Talk style, where you have everyone in a big general session room, and then we have the speakers and the experts and everyone rotate through there. So that's kind of what we're doing for our general sessions. We have some amazing topics and speakers that are going to be on there, and then we have breaks in between, so we're not sitting for extended periods of time. And then we have the vendor room when the general sessions are not in session because they'll all be in there. And that's when the AMA booths will be open, vendors, there'll be food, snacks, things of that sort, and just time to connect with other people. I know I was just talking about that. It's just
Yeah.
so often as an entrepreneur, we think we're on an island, right? We're like,
Right. Yeah.
and we have these Facebook groups and it's great, but meeting them in person just is something completely
Yeah,
different.
you can't really compare that because,
Yeah.
like, I've made some really, really great connections online. And what I'm most excited about the conference is these people. Just speaking of our guests on the podcast alone this year,
Right.
there's so many of the guests that we've had on our show that we've talked to, met, and maybe even become friends with, but we've never seen them or met them in person.
Right.
And we get to actually like, hey, see them and talk, and just it's you can't compare the two. While it's amazing that we have this technology that you can get pretty dang close to in-person, interactions and relationships and communication, but it's not the same
Right.
at all. So
Right.
like, again, even if I would recommend, for future conferences, since this one's full, if you really can only afford to buy a vendor room only ticket, buy the vendor room only ticket, and then be there, hang out with people, walk around the vendors, meet those vendors in person, make a connection with those vendors in person, and see like, oh, okay, you're a regular person like us. I really like what you do, or maybe the opposite, maybe don't. But like, get to meet all those people, and then you'll also, have access to like everything else except the, the teachings, and you'll have access to your community basically for a fraction of the price,
Well,
and still be
speaking
able
of
to
the
get
community.
something out of it.
Right. Like we put a lot of effort into the community side of things on this one. Like for example, we got 30 bistro tables that were scattering throughout the lobby, the vendor room, and with stools, just to give people a place to sit and talk to each other.
Right. Yeah.
Because we want to create opportunities for people to connect.
Totally.
And we know that from past experiences, people will be out in the hotel lobby, which is great. They can keep doing that. That's no problem. But we just want to create places everywhere for people to sit and talk. We've got 2 rooms. Between the 2 rooms, we're going to have seating for everybody, all 550 some odd people, 600 people, to be able to sit down and eat at breakfast and at lunch.
Nice.
They can also eat somewhere else if they want, but but we just want to be able to say, hey, if you want to connect, you can. We got food trucks coming on Friday and Saturday night.
It's so fun.
That's awesome.
I'm super excited about that.
Which is great, because another thing we ran into at the other conferences was, although one of them made for really good content, but we went to dinner off-site, and all of us, there was a lot of us, so we had to get several different Ubers to get there. And then when we got there, we had to wait for forever for a table. And then once we finally got a table, we almost got in a fight at another table because one of our friends, his laugh is epic, and this guy did not like it. And then we were late for our podcast recording because then we also had to get more Ubers and come back. And so the fact that we don't have to leave or don't have to spend twice as much or 3 times as much on DoorDash is huge, because it means people get to stay together longer because and I can have barbecue, you can have whatever else there is,
pizza or
pizza,
Mexican food,
tacos, and then but when we can get what we want and sit together and talk and not have to wait for a table or all the things.
That was another thing too, is like you kind of have to pick and choose who you're going to dinner with, because sometimes
that was the struggle too, is like, I want to hang out with you, but I don't want to eat that, but I don't want to eat that, but I don't know if I want to spend time with everybody.
Where are you going? Oh, we're going over here. Oh man, because I heard they're going over there.
Right.
And it's like, oh, which one? Who do I want to hang out with?
I'll never forget it was the first one I went to. I was by myself, and if you know me, you know I have a lot of anxiety and social anxiety, and like if I don't know you, I am cautious of you just because I don't know you yet. And we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for dinner. And there was someone coming that I didn't know yet. And I was like, and then there was other people who were coming that I didn't know yet. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go to dinner with like 5 people I like and 5 people who I don't know.
Right.
And then like you're kind of stuck there because you don't have a car.
Right.
I can't leave if it gets uncomfortable or if I get uncomfortable or whatever. And I was like, I don't. Who's all going? Like I'm totally the type like who's all there.
Right.
Who's all coming? Yeah. And but what's funny is the girl who was coming was April. And I love April, but then there was another girl who was like trying to like jump in that, you know, none of us knew or whatever, which is great too, because like there's so many people that I met from that dinner that I was like over analyzing and I loved everyone at dinner. Everyone was fun and great. And that's usually how it is. But my brain's like, ooh, hold on. I don't know you. So,
and that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
And well, I know I've seen a lot of people post in the groups, you know, they're coming alone because their significant other couldn't come for whatever reason. The same reason, you know, he couldn't come the first year. And so it's just, it's a lot, you know, that many people, a new situation. For some people, this is their first ever conference. They don't even know what to expect.
Nope.
And it's just like, oh God, I don't have a friend or I don't have someone to latch onto to make me feel comfortable. But the best part is that there's so many other people like you who are feeling the same.
Yes.
Or there's the people, there's the meme of like every introvert has been claimed by an extrovert. And so there's plenty of extroverts who are ready to claim those introverts who are scared and nervous and, you know, don't want to do all those things like the sit with us signs, you know. I'm the opposite. I need the can't sit with us sign, like from just joking from the movie. But, but I would want someone to like sit with me. I just can't invite you because of the way my brain
and that is
the
okay.
way my brain, you know what I mean?
That is totally okay.
And I just
you know,
love how it works for everybody, no matter what your thing is, you know?
All that is real. All that is totally okay. And we care about all of it. And we know we can't make everything happen for everybody, but we want to create environments in which something positive can happen. Right.
Right.
And so we're just working hard to make sure that environments are available. Right. And I know everybody who, if you're watching this and you're coming, I know there's anxiety for a lot of folks.
Right.
We get it. In the most positive way possible. We want to embrace you in a way that doesn't make you feel weird.
Right. Exactly.
You know, but we're just glad you're going to be there. And we hope that you walk away with some connections that really matter to you.
You will.
And I'm going to try, Will knows I'm trying not to say the other 2 words every time I say connection, because I'm doing the opening.
The 3 C's.
Yeah. My opening talk is on those.
Right.
And so my mind is on those right now. So I'm going to do my best to not actually
give it away.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just really important. And that's why we're spending all this time and effort on trying to make that happen. We've got some fun, goofy games. We've got some serious things. We've got all kinds of things that hopefully just kind of break the ice for everybody. And it's going to be great.
Friday evening mixer. We didn't talk about the Friday evening mixer with the jazz band. You know, just for people to come enjoy the music. We'll have a cash bar there, have a drink, meet some people, realize real quickly that, you know, in social media, we tend to see all the positives, right? Everyone's like, oh, I have this many sales. I'm doing this. And it's like, everyone's successful, but me. And then you go there and you're like, you know what? We all have the same struggles. We're all on this journey together. And it's an amazing thing that I think one of the things we talk about is you'll get those aha moments. You'll get all the knowledge, but we want you to just be so enthused when you leave this conference that you're ready to tackle those obstacles that come in front of you for your business, right? You're ready to run through a wall for your business. Because you're like, you know what? Other people have done it, and we've all been there. We've all
sales front, even the ones.
So, John, you said they need to buy all the keychain thingies.
Yes,
they need a bag to put them in.
Well, everybody's getting 2 bags this year.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And
so like a shopping bag and a.
Yeah, this is a tote.
Nice.
Nice.
And so this will be keychain thingies,
Yes, a lot of
Yes.
thingies
There's
can
a lot of
fit in there.
Yeah.
right? But really, everybody's been so generous with the swag bags, so it's going to be packed full of stuff. But you get
Nice.
both of these,
Nice.
Nice.
and yeah, I mean, keychain thingies and whatever else you want.
And I mean, I would
Yes.
personally stop by thingies first
yeah.
and pick those up
yeah.
because they're not gonna weigh that bag down.
No.
Because if you put some acrylic in there, it's gonna be heavy.
Right.
By the time you get to us and you put more
Yeah.
thingies in there.
Yeah.
So I think you stop by thingies first.
I mean, we are right by the door.
Oh,
So
even,
it just,
even
you
better.
know-
So we're right there. You pick up the thingies that you need, and then you can go and shop around, and then
Right.
come back and pick up those thingies that you missed.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do one
use
more
thingies
run
thingies
through.
as your inspiration. Get the
Exactly.
and then
Yes.
find all the supplemental
And yes,
things.
Yes.
find
You know,
the
the
acrylic you
the
want to
wood, all that
use,
stuff.
Exactly.
the wood you want to use, the
And then be
dual
like,
tight.
you know what?
That you want
I
to
don't
glue
think I
them
have
together
enough
with.
thingies
Yeah.
for all these projects.
All that material you
Let
got.
me go
And
back.
you just got to swing
it-
back around.
Is there one way in and one way out?
No, there's a few ways out.
Oh, okay.
I
But
mean,
we're next
and
to
a few
two
ways
doors,
in.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if we were on the way in and on the way out, that would be perfect.
Well, if you and Jeff are both working the table, you can direct people at the other door
We're
that
over
way.
there.
you
No,
can,
no,
you
you
can
don't want
send
to go out
Jeff.
this way. You
You
want-
go, this door is closed. You
Send
need to go
send
out
Jeff
that way.
over to the other door and say, "I'm sorry, this door is closed."
Yeah.
Right, you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta pass by
Exits by
keychain
the
thingies before going to
Right.
go or directly to jail. Do not pass go.
No, there's gonna be
Yeah.
a lot of awesome things there.
Well, but back on the sales thing, I've heard even the people who are getting a lot of sales and maybe aren't struggling as much as, the next one, even their sales are down.
Right.
They still may be like above water and they still may be doing great or doing
Sure.
okay. If they compare their numbers to last year, I'll be shocked if most people aren't lower even a little bit than they were the year prior. So 100% you aren't alone. And really, when we had Robert Kofed, and I keep going back to this moment when we had him on, because it was really like the beginning of kind of just weird times money wise.
Right.
Yeah.
You just really, right now we're in a kind of like survival mode. You just got to make it through this weird time. And if you make it through to the other side, you'll be good.
Right.
It doesn't stay like this for
Right.
too long. It
Right.
happens a lot, it'll last for a couple years and then it kind of just all of a sudden it
Peaks and
feels
valleys.
like it, right. It
Yeah.
feels like it rebounds. And, it will, in the process, it will knock a lot of people out who
Right.
maybe, didn't have it in them to do all this, and maybe they had another full-time job or they just didn't have enough to dedicate to that or life
Right.
or whatever, and it will weed some out. But if you can just skate through and
Weather the storm.
survive through the storm
Yeah.
and make it to the other side, you'll be good and you'll learn a lot. It's going to, I keep telling John, every time something happens and we have to pivot, I'm I'm real sick of pivoting.
Yeah.
I don't want to pivot anymore. But you got to, because if you don't pivot, then you have to choose to stop or quit or take a break
Right.
or whatever. And every time I think about that and working for someone else, I'm like, no,
And I
okay,
feel-
it's fine. I'll
I
pivot.
feel like if you're in that situation, if you're feeling like that, and you got this ticket, because a lot of people bought it really early on.
Yeah.
And if you're at that mark and you're maybe you're on the fence of, man, it's a lot of expense. You already got the ticket in the plane.
Right.
Whatever. You're like, man, the food there and this and that. You're gonna be energized just by being around everybody.
Yeah.
And you're gonna like you were saying, you're gonna hit the floor when you get back home.
Right.
To hit it 10 times as hard,
Yeah.
because you're gonna feed off of everyone's energy.
Yep.
And it's always positive.
Yeah.
And it's
I was talking to Jess from Jersey Girl Sign Shop the other day, and she kind of booked, towards the end, because it was a lot of money. It was a lot of investment that
Yeah.
she had to put into it, and she was struggling with if she could make it work or not, and then there's the fact of when she finally did book it, then she's very similar to me in that like we have anxiety over like everything. And I'm pretty sure, she's having to come alone. I think she's still trying to get her husband to come if he can, but she doesn't know if he could get the time off of work and all that. So she may be coming by herself. And, I was just telling her that like, no matter what, like you'll leave energized and like motivated and ready to like kill it.
And feel
and
like
then
you can.
Your social meter, your social battery will be like completely depleted, and you'll be ready for several naps, especially if that's not like your thing.
No more people.
Because it's a lot of peopling, but like just the positives that you get out of it way outweigh the like extra peopling for those of us who, kind of are hermits now or whatever. And, she was saying that she, I don't know if I should share this or not, but she may have to like make some changes in life. I won't say what they are just in case, and so she really needs to like see if, the laser thing is like, for her, if it ever needs to be full time or just whatever. And like, this is a good way to do that, to figure out like, okay, is this it? Like, are these my people?
Yeah, because if you don't walk away, like
true,
I'm gonna take over the world, because that is how you feel when you leave. From being around everyone. If you don't, then I mean, you might want to like reevaluate, but I almost guarantee you're not.
And let me add this, because this is something specifically this year. We are focused quite a bit on the health of the maker. Not only that, of course, because we're also going to be teaching some specific skills. Obviously, we got the AMAs, obviously that kind of thing, and we've got an expert talking about Etsy, and we've got photography. But a significant portion of the content is about you getting stronger and you getting healthier and you getting focused and because we know that if Mark is not healthy and focused, Big Blue Laser Designs doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't matter. And I could learn all the new. I could learn how to use silhouette like an expert, which, by the way, I should. I'm not downplaying that at all. But if I'm not healthy, none of that makes any difference. And so we're focusing on trying to help the maker get healthy in their thinking, in the way that they see the world, in the way that they're willing to pivot, like you said. If you can leave in a better place emotionally, spiritually, relationally than you were when you came, you're getting. And here's the thing: if somebody even leaves knowing that they need to transition out of lasers, but knowing that that's the healthier thing for them, then we applaud that.
And it was still beneficial. Because you'll walk away knowing like, oh, okay, these are some things I want to implement. These are some things I need to stop doing. These are some, or maybe like, I don't know that I have that in me to do that. Or, maybe I need to take a break and step back and like figure out, what it is. But
and know that that's actually good. That's actually good. Like Will and I have talked about how people are surprised when we, given the right circumstances, we encourage them to stop doing something because they think we're going to talk them into a new laser. They think we're going to talk them into, and we said, no, what is best for you, for your family, for your kids, whatever your situation is. And if that's what is the healthiest next step, then we couldn't encourage you more. And that's what we want people to leave with. And I say this with a smile because I'm joking a lot of this. Maybe a lot of you need 100 bags of keychain thingies. But on the honest, because I know the two of you well enough to know you care deeply about people. And if the right answer is for them to stop doing something, then please let us encourage you to do that. Whatever it is. And Will, I got the schedule in front of me because I was just thinking about all the things we're covering, or not we, but the conference is covering. And just looking at it going, man, like Emily's going to talk about keys to a killer fourth quarter, which is awesome. And the Patels are going to talk about how to work with influencers, which is cool. There's a group talking about how to take when to know to take the leap from part-time to full-time to even hiring somebody.
It's a huge question.
Oh my God, that's huge. And we're going to have people talking about it that know what they're talking about, which is great. Fortunately, I will probably not be on the stage at all for that. That'll be great. So that kind of thing. We've got people talking about customer satisfaction, work-life, family balance. Oh my God, that's huge.
Difficult.
Yeah. Dawn's going to talk about profitable parties, which is going to be fun. And not necessarily just the parties that people are thinking of. There's lots of ways to do that.
Right.
We got a panel discussion talking about how to choose pricing, which is cool. We got one about social media, which is going to be great. And I got them out of order here. I got lost for a second. That's great. My friend Gabe is going to be this one. I cannot wait for this one. He's going to be talking about the importance of how to be resilient. Kind of what you were hinting at about pivoting, you know?
Yeah.
But this is about life. This isn't about lasers, you know? Every time I say that, lasers. That's shark with a laser on his head. Yeah. But just Daryl's going to talk about a successful entrepreneur's mindset. We have Tasha talking about taxes. I mean,
huge.
It's important, right?
Yeah.
Just lots of things here. So it's going to be really great. Again, some Etsy stuff we got that Jessica's going to talk about. We got Kim and Garrett and Callie Goodwin are going to be talking about social media, which is going to be great.
We just had Kim and Garrett on last week. Yeah, and we've had Callie on before too, and I'm excited to see all those people.
Yeah, well, and then also to see people that we've seen, because there's a lot of people, you know, all over the country that we've met either at the conference or like at ISA earlier this few months ago. But you know, these sort of events are the only time we get together and we see each other. Yep. So it's exciting to see them again.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and like what we were saying, you know, before, just the in between times too of the like, you know, I need a break from maybe the talks, or I need a break from the vendor room, or you just need a break in general, and you go like sit down. There's just, you can either sit by yourself, or you can go to your room, or you sit at like a table where there's like 5 of you talking, and you just talk about random stuff. And those are just as impactful as those talks.
The
sometimes.
only way you can sit by yourself is if you go to your room.
That's why I said that, because you can't sit by yourself. Someone's going to come sit with you.
But someone's going to come up.
Yeah, they're going to come join you and be like, hey. Yeah. So if you need to take a break, you probably got to go hide in your room. But
but we all know the you put on the headphones. It's like
even if they're off.
Yeah.
I just put on I just put on AirPods and I'll just mouth something. It doesn't have to be anything, and then just
or you know, you hold your phone like
right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then your phone rings.
Don't show them the phone.
Then your phone rings.
Your phone rings. Yeah. I don't think I've had my phone off of silent for at least the last
But does it
5 or
vibrate?
6 years. No,
because it might vibrate when it's.
But you'll be like, it'll be dark on your ear, and then it'll light up. I'm like, oh.
It'll tell on you.
Too many. You're giving away all the secrets of me and my introverted self at this conference. All right, as I'm sitting in the corner.
You gotta go hide in your room, Will. Especially you guys, like.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And again, like, you know, you guys thrive off of that and live off of that. But if you really wanted, like, a moment to yourself, you have to hide because I mean, like, even at the last few, like the Podfest, I went to the bathroom and I had only made one friend, but I ran into that one friend in the bathroom,
and she'll be at.
She'll be at. Let's talk about that. So that's our two worlds kind of colliding. And well, I mean, it's a laser podcast, so they already like are combined. But we went to Podfest in January, and I'm sitting at a table, and there weren't a ton of tables, so I had to sit at a table where there was already people, and I'm trying to be on my phone, and I'm like, my people meter is already almost max. And then they're like going around the table, and everyone's talking about like what their podcast is on. Now, mind you, I'm by myself because John is in the long line grabbing food for both of us. And, you know, I claimed a seat at the table. And so then, you know, they get to me and I'm like, okay. because every time I brought up our podcast, I had to explain what lasers were.
Yeah.
And so this time I was like, oh, we have a podcast on lasers, and the girl sitting across from me, her name is Taimara. We've had her on the podcast. Her face, her whole body, I would say, lit up because she had just bought her first laser. And her podcast, I'm not sure if she already started it or was going to start it, but was just going to be on like crafting in general because she's very crafty and has a bunch of other machines and stuff. And so then she was like, oh my God, I just bought my first laser. And like, so then we started talking, and it was nice for me because it was the first time that whole weekend that anybody knew what I was talking about. The rest of the people at the table didn't, but she did. And then, we became like close friends after that, and we talked a lot, afterwards. And then, she had like a temporary position, and then it wasn't renewed. And then so she was almost kind of like forced into deciding what she wanted to do with her business. She's like, I'm getting my resume ready, but what I'd really love to do is the things, make stuff. And, then when we had the contest where we chose someone for the free ticket that they graciously gave to each of us, the person who won was a patron of our podcast who's already coming. And so she was like, do you know anybody who could benefit from this ticket, before before we just kind of randomly choose somebody.
And that was tough.
And that was tough because I had two people. Right. It was Taimara that I met at the Podfest, and then it was Jess from Jersey Girl Sign Shop, who really wanted to go, but, the extra expenses of stuff she was trying to make, make it work. And I went back and forth a million times, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to choose which one, and then I eventually went with Taimara because we had actually like really talked about like what it would mean for her to come, and, seeing all that she took in from the first, the Podfest, the podcast conference. So then seeing her at this conference will be really cool again, to see her in like a different, element, and just how full circle that came, for someone. It's
just for her to get it kind of re-energized her into like, oh man, like, because she was on the fence on what to do.
Well, and she's so new that she just doesn't, when you're new like that, it's really hard to focus and have a direction.
Right.
Because there's so many things you have to focus on, and there's so many things that are new. You have to have good photography. You need a website or an Etsy. You need to make sure your taxes are good. You need, there's so much that you have to figure out, and that can be really overwhelming.
And
when
she's
you're
new to the
starting.
groups too, so she hasn't made that many friends yet.
Right.
And maybe she's a little nervous to ask questions in the group because we all know how that is. Right.
When she's already getting to meet more, she is actually, so she wanted to split a hotel room with someone to, again, save on costs and, whatever. And so she's actually splitting with Cody from DIY Cody that we've had on. And I talk to her all the time as well. And then I think even a third person, I think, so the three of them are sharing a room to help share expenses. Right. And that they're going to leave there unless one of them is really annoying. But they're going to leave there with new friends and someone that you've spent the weekend with, not including all the people that you get to meet while you're there. Yeah. Like, I feel like we're a broken record about how awesome it is, but it really is awesome.
I love it. In fact, Will, maybe we can tell them real quick how we connected initially. Like, maybe tell the quick, 2-minute story of us and how we met each other. And because this is a very similar thing, we obviously had no idea we'd be here.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of maybe tell our story real quick, because we're kind of hoping that in your own way, everybody has a story like this to look back on later.
Yeah, so Mark and I we met online, it was a cloudy Friday evening. Yeah, we're not going to mention the site. No, I'm just kidding. Mark started out with his laser before I did, and I joined the communities, and I was completely new. I had I had no idea what I was going to do with my laser when I first got it. I was using it for something completely different. I thought it was going to be to supplement my chocolate sculpture business and wedding cakes, and that didn't really work because you can't cut chocolate in it after acrylic. Apparently, it's not food safe. So, I just joined the groups not knowing anything, had no clue. I'm not in a lot of ways, I'm not very creative. I'm not a crafter. I don't make any of this stuff, honestly. I was looking to build a business from it more so than a hobby. Then come across, I'm just nervous. I'm asking a few questions here, but being in the groups, seeing the people who are helping in the groups and how great this community was, and Mark being one of the people I see answer 700 questions a day was really drew me to him. And we started talking online. I don't know how we started talking. I bought a couple files with unwelded text from him. So
was that bookmark?
It's so true.
The bookmark.
It's so true.
And what's funny is I had no idea that was from him. I made it. I gave it to my kids' teachers, and I was proud of it. I was like, "Hey, this is perfect."
Right.
And then I look back on it now, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't clean the char off. I didn't wipe the edges."
Looking at your first few projects is like so.
So I posted it in the group.
It's cringe.
I posted it in the group like, "Hey, we've all been there, Sometimes in these groups they put us on this like pedestal that, oh, you guys do everything right. Like, no, we all started in the same place. And what's funny is the comment was, oh my gosh, that you didn't weld your text. And I was like, I didn't know what welding text was. And then I see the comments. Mark says, "That's my file." So I was like, oh, so yeah, it's no longer my fault. It's all Mark.
Right.
I printed the file as is. I didn't unweld it.
Right.
So just that, but and then we ended up meeting. We did an event in Southern California, and it was a small event. We were both invited to go out there and talk and meet people, and we thought, hey, we'll do it. I was like, hey, it's close to home. It's an hour flight. I'd like to meet some of these people. And we get there, and I'll tell you the experience with just 40 people there, meeting everyone was mind blowing. Right? It was amazing. And then Mark and I, we were talking, and it felt like we knew each other forever.
Yeah.
We ended up sitting in the hotel lobby that evening before the event started until like 2 or 3 in the morning, just saying.
So like the first time you called me after we got home from Vegas.
It's very much like a love story.
Yeah, it's this is a Nicholas Sparks book. If anyone's looking to write one, Love and Lasers, whatever you want to call it, whatever, Tulsa, Sacramento, together, whatever it might be.
Just remember to weld the text this time, right? Yeah.
Yes. And we said, we need to do something like this. We need to find a way to. We spent so much time online building the community but there was something to having people together, that energy, and that was in March of 2022. Yeah, 2022. And
sounds about right.
August of 2022, we had our first event in Sacramento. And since then, we had the one in Dallas the next year, but we've done workshops and meetups and lunches just around the country, from Sacramento to Dallas to Tulsa, wherever we go. And the biggest thing that we realize is the passion we have for people and teaching people and giving people the opportunity to be put in positions to learn and to be the best version of themselves, right? So each time we get better. Each time we were like, wow, Dallas was successful. We did a great job. You know what? Let's blow it all up. We're not going to take everything we did well from that one. We're just going to do a whole new thing. Let's, because really, if we would have took what we did in Dallas, which was successful, and I think people enjoyed it, the environment was great, the content was great, and we said we're just going to copy paste that into our next event and add a little to it. It would be significantly a lot less work than what we're doing now. Right. But as we sat, we thought this, we believe, is going to be something that's going to, and I know it's a big ask for us to say that this is going to be life-changing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And And I think we're willing to put the work in to see that happen.
Yeah.
We're excited, and it will just get easier as we do more because we will be doing more.
And I think the kind of the thing I was thinking there is back in what was that 22?
Yep.
Whenever that was, we have talked online before, but I guess my point was thinking, you guys don't know who you're going to meet.
Right.
You don't know. You also don't know who's going to turn out to be a really close friend because Will and I do business together, but I consider him one of my closest friends too. And we didn't have any idea. I mean, he goes, "Good God, that guy is tall. I got nothing in common with him."
Right.
But we didn't know that, and I think that there's going to be some friendships that grow out of these events that you just can't see coming.
Yeah. Totally.
100%.
Yeah.
My closest friends. I mean,
That was April.
I would say I used to
didn't
say
want her at
real
the
life
table
friends
first.
and then online friends, right? But now it's all the people that I talk to, the people that I trust the most, the people that I share insecurities with, help grow my business with, shoot ideas with, are all people that I've met through this laser community. And they're the first ones who are also going to be truthful with me and say, get off your stuff, right? Like that's not going to work. So, and we need that. We sometimes we put ourselves around people, that echo chamber. Oh yeah. That's great. You meet people who are willing to challenge you, who want
and
you
your
to
friends and family can't do that to a certain extent.
Right.
Usually, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure your wife, Mark. She knows a lot about what you do, but there's probably a whole lot that she doesn't know about what you do, and you can
or at least can't connect with.
Right. And you can tell her about all the things, but when it comes to certain like business advice or certain things or certain avenues that you should go into, it could sound like a great idea to her, but she may not think about some of the pitfalls to a certain idea or something like that like if you go to someone in the industry and you're like, hey, I have this great idea, what do you think? And they could be like, oh, I see that as a great idea, but I also see some challenges you might have, or did you know so-and-so is already doing that, or this person's already been doing it for a few years, and then and there's enough room for everybody, even if there's 5 people ahead of you, because the 6th person they don't have a you yet. So there's someone who could be like, oh, I don't connect with those people, but I connect with you, so I'll go where you're going and instead of the others. But there's just things like that of like, my family and friends, they don't even know what the heck I do. And I share little like tidbits here and there. But they can't give me advice because they don't understand. And that's why having these relationships and these friendships are super important in like keeping going through the tough parts and helping make some decisions and motivation and just bitching about it with someone who understands customer reviews or the customers who feel like the shipping problems are our fault. There was the other day, Melody from CMB, we were talking about, we were both bitching about the shipping troubles we've had and how most customers understand, but then there's always that one that doesn't. Right. And that one that doesn't is pretty stressful because it's like, I can't do this. This is literally outside of my control. But it's just having that friend in the industry that you can go to and vent about it. And then you can then turn it off because you got it out of your system and go handle that customer with, the professional gloves on and say, kindly what's
and
going
the opposite
on,
end too. The opposite end is as an entrepreneur, like I've always said, we're on an island a lot of times, right? So we need those people to vent to, but we also want to share our successes with others.
Totally, right.
And sometimes we're afraid in a public setting to share our successes, thinking,
for sure,
they're just thinking I'm bragging. But if you build a nice core group of people that you're confident with, you guys can share those successes with each other, and that motivates you and it motivates them as well, right? Because sometimes that whole nobody wants to be first, but no one wants to be left behind. And you want to surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
So you're sharing those successes, and you're all pushing toward a singular goal together.
Yep.
It makes a huge difference, right? Like when I can call Mark and say, "Man, I crushed it today," or
Yeah.
or man, today I think everyone on earth is dead because I don't think anyone has come to the website.
Right.
Being able
Yep.
to share both of
Right.
those opportunities
Yeah.
are
And they can be
huge.
one day apart.
Or the
I've
same
had
day.
days where
or the same day.
it's true.
Same day.
I've had days where like I killed it, and then the next day I go on and I'm like, oh,
Did the
okay.
internet crash?
All right, is my website working? Nope, it's
Yeah,
working.
the market
okay.
has eliminated keys, therefore keychains are no longer needed.
Don't speak something like that into existence. Oh my God, what was? Did you guys see this screenshot I shared of me talking to David? So we were talking about the conference, and I've been picking his brain a lot because this isn't his like first vendor show, and it's not really mine, but it's like mine, the biggest one for me on this level for keychain thingies. Last year I literally mainly taught classes and then sold keychain thingies in between on a table. There was
Like-
no risers.
Hey, buddy, you want to buy? Yeah, like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
was
had a
Like a
backpack
trench coat.
that I walked around with when I wasn't sitting at the vendor table that had keychain thingies in it and my little thing to accept payment. I literally sold my first keychain thingy at the bar the day before the conference even started.
Right.
But like it wasn't, I had like a couple signs and stuff, but it like there was no setup at my table besides laying them out very OCD like in types,
Sure.
So this year it's different and I'm stepping it up, and I've been like, bugging him a lot. Like, hey, what do you think about this? What should I do with this? I've been bugging you about like what banners to get and what size and all that stuff. And where was I going with that? Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Oh, the screenshot with David. Okay. So anyway, we were talking about like the swag bags and that kind of stuff and pins and people making pins.
Yeah.
And he was like, he asked me if I had any pin thingies. And I was like, I don't have any pin thingies
Yet.
yet. If there's a market for it and people want pin thingies from me, I'll get pin thingies. But I was like, oh, you should make keychains. If you don't want to make pins or you don't want to like glue the pins to each other and whatever, I do have tons of keychain thingies if you need those. And he said, I dislike keychains. And I was like,
Right.
I sent a GIF. It was like, I was flabbergasted. And I said, rude. And he was like, I didn't say I dislike you. And I'm like, you basically did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
That's
all
funny.
of those, just he's been one of many people that I've talked to, along the way. And yeah, keychain.
And then you get those moments where you think, maybe we shouldn't be friends if you don't like keychains.
Right, I'm like-
or like when
he's
Will
like-
tells me he doesn't watch Marvel movies. I'm like, why are we friends?
Yeah.
It's like Heather. Heather doesn't like cheese.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's
Cheese, right? Look at Will's face.
Yeah.
Cheese is life.
Yeah.
It
Makes
is,
you
yeah.
rethink that friendship, doesn't it, Will?
Like,
Oh, 100. Well, I question that every day already. Sorry, Heather. But the cheese is like the topping. Like
It
literally is the
everything.
topping.
It's like, I mean, the kids. It's funny because the kids are just as obsessed with cheese as we are,
As the rest of the world.
and so they always want cheese. We have like cheese sticks and stuff, like on hand always. And Nino, their grandmother, she bought some other cheese because we were out, and so it was a different cheese. And at first they were like, different cheese, especially for toddlers and small kids,
then
adding
it's
something
cheese.
different. But then it's like, well, it's cheese. So it was fine. It didn't matter if it was a different cheese because like all cheese is good. But yeah, Heather doesn't like cheese.
Okay.
I will
So-
tell you though, if I only enjoy cheese if it's melted. I
Really?
don't like any cheese that isn't melted other than string cheese. Like I wouldn't just eat a piece
okay.
of cheddar.
No?
Oh,
I wouldn't eat a piece of cheddar
with
on
a
a
cracker?
charcuterie board.
No?
No, cheese
get
whiz.
Which
But
cheese
yeah, it has
whiz
to be
is all.
melted. No, but yeah, you have to melt it on a burger, on a pizza, on a
Interesting.
almost anything else. But yeah,
no,
melted cheese.
we're the type that will eat like a slice of cheese that's
Oh,
for
I would too.
sandwiches.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
just
I can't do it
by
like Baby
itself.
Yeah.
Bell, or Brie, or any of
Yeah.
that. No.
I have found
Oh.
out. No, I've been
How
working
dare
on
you.
working on my health and eating better, and I have found out that cheese doesn't work in a smoothie very well.
What? Why?
I wouldn't think
It's
it
kind of
would.
gross.
Yeah.
Why did you?
Yeah, I don't think I would have even tried to put cheese in
Yeah.
a smoothie.
I'm not saying I did.
Okay.
Well, then how did you find out it doesn't work?
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, the deep questions.
I will tell you.
Right.
It was, okay, not that we are not already off topic,
Yeah.
but I think we all go through seasons with food where you know, like for example,
Oh yeah.
I love omelets. I think omelets are great, and I love putting like ham in an omelet or bacon or sausage. And
Totally.
then you don't have those meats, so you go chicken.
I do chicken.
Yeah, I know, but you're going sure. And then
Yeah.
you go through like the meat drawer or whatever you have in your refrigerator. And you're like, okay, I
Right.
don't have any hamburger. Yeah, okay, hamburger. And then you go bologna.
Yep.
Yeah. But you start going down that road of
Right. Yeah.
not all these work.
No.
Oh, so it was. Ooh, I'm making a smoothie. Oh, I'm out of berries. Oh, I'm out of vegetables.
I got
Oh,
cheese.
I have cheese. Is
me
that
just
how
cut
that
this up.
got to the?
Milk based.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I could yogurt.
Maybe cottage cheese.
Oh, cottage cheese would work. Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
Well, I'm also on a health journey, and cottage cheese is used at cottage cheese and Greek yogurt is used to substitute a lot of things to make a healthier version.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
actually
like
really
dressings
good.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
if you put the right seasonings along with it, it can work. But there's been a lot of things that haven't worked, much like business. You try new recipes and we're like, oh, this could be great. And it looks so good on that reel on Instagram. and then you
it'll
try
look,
it.
it'll
and
look good
it's
in person. It'll look good in
Yeah.
person.
It'll smell delicious too.
but then
And it'll
not so
taste
much.
like pure trash.
Yep.
I feel like Ross from Friends yelling, pivot.
No more pivoting.
Yeah,
I
no more
said pivot.
pivoting. Yeah.
So we
yeah.
probably should start wrapping up.
Yes.
Is there anything
Before this podcast ends with us on a plane in Tulsa.
right?
Heading to Tulsa.
StreamYard starts flashing out of memory. in the
Right.
workspace.
You have hit your max for the month.
Right. Or Mark's
Is there
internet
anything
dies.
you guys want to share before
Yeah.
we tell everyone see you next week?
I mean, for those who are coming to the conference, we're really excited for the opportunity to meet everyone, to give you guys an experience something that you've probably never experienced before. And
Yeah.
we've been to other shows, and I'm not saying anything negative about other shows, but
Right.
the environment that we are trying to create is definitely different than anything that I've been to. And I know I can speak for Mark that we're really excited about that aspect of it. And if you can't make it, we understand. We will
Right.
have other events. As much
And
as
you
we
will
say,
have FOMO.
and as much as we've said, oh, we need to focus on this event, there are those times where we're like, okay, we need this. What about next year? What do
Yeah.
we do?
Right.
Well, it's definitely a thing. We're excited about it. I think that this is something that we're both passionate about, and hopefully we will exceed your expectations when you guys come to this conference. So
I would say
we
also-
look forward to seeing all of you.
Come with expectation to have a great time and to get what you want. If you come with the expectation of entertain me or that kind of thing,
Right.
you're not going to get. Come expecting to get something great, and you will.
Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah.
agree.
Perfect. Well, obviously you can find Mark with Big Blue Laser and Will, the Crazy Laser Dad. Want to thank you guys not only for spending your time here on the podcast, but for going through all the hard work on putting these events on that are awesome for the community and just great to attend.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for that.
And appreciate the invite.
Yes.
Oh, heck
Yes.
yes.
Right,
Thank you.
we wouldn't have it without you guys. So we're excited that keychain thingies are there. We're excited that
The
Riley
podcast
Black
is there.
podcast will be there.
So
We're
What for
excited that
Lasers
both
is
of you,
there.
and you can take all those businesses.
Riley Black
Great.
Media is
We're
there.
excited to be them. But ultimately, I know Mark will say the same thing. It's the fact that you two are there.
Yes, it is.
That's the most important.
you,
Because you could not have a booth. You could not be the podcast. You could not all of that
Right.
stuff. But hanging out with you guys,
Absolutely.
Hopefully not getting in a bar fight, even though I don't know if we should say his name,
Oh,
but he
God.
will be there. He will be there
coming.
Saturday night.
He's there. He's
Well,
there. I'm pretty pumped that he's coming.
They're not coming until Saturday, though. So
Yeah.
we at least have Thursday and Friday to inch into it. And then if he causes a ruckus,
Oh, he's gonna have a ruckus.
Well, don't let him leave the hotel. We have food trucks.
Right?
Eat there.
yeah,
Eat there.
don't go anywhere.
Well, that's awesome, and we'll end it here with Mark and Will. But you guys stay tuned for the life update coming up next. I wonder what we'll talk about. And we're back with the life update.
Woo woo.
All right,
Life is
lifing.
lifing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
it
put
is.
that on a shirt.
What life is lifing. Yeah,
'Cause-
it's, you know,
Lots of great, lots of
It's-
just stuff as
Yep.
all as usual.
Yep. Yep.
I don't
Our-
want to say it. I'm finally feeling a little
oh,
bit
there
better.
it is. There it is. You said it. Yeah.
But yeah,
In preparation for all the stuff, cash flow is
little tight.
south.
Having to
Little south,
make
but-
sure every
but
purchase is
after-
necessary.
Yes, but after we get back, hopefully we sell all the keychains that we
Right.
pre-order, because basically we look at it as a pre-order to the rest of the year's inventory.
Yes, that's
So,
worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario is at
is
least we
that
got it.
I have inventory for it.
But
could be months and months,
we know
or it could
you
be just
guys
enough.
are going to come through and buy up all the keychain thingies that we have, and then we have to buy more.
Mm-hmm. And as corny as it is,
for-
you're literally paying for our groceries. Like
Everything.
that keychain. Excuse me. That keeps
Okay.
getting a little
Yeah.
backed up. That keychain thingies that you buy, it's going to help pay for groceries and the light bill and our mortgage
And more and more
soccer, maybe for JR if we can afford it. It's paying for all of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, as you know that with a small business, but if you didn't know, if you didn't realize how
small.
impactful that is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Once
be
we get
exciting.
there.
Yeah.
Because, the second we're done here, I got to go.
Yeah, and
Gotta
I
go do
gotta
stuff.
and I gotta go pack this up and kind of like see
Yeah.
what's gonna be carry on and what's gonna be in my
Right.
bag
Yeah.
for checked. So,
Yep.
hopefully everyone else is packing up and getting ready and getting excited.
Yeah.
For the conference, we're excited. As much work as it goes into going there for the vendor table and for you
Right.
speaking and everything like that is gonna be
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and we look forward to seeing everybody there.
I
Don't-
love how my brain underestimates, like, oh, you're not teaching classes this time.
Right.
But it underestimated the fact that I'm going to be sitting at that table teaching people
right.
for hours and hours
Right.
each
Just
day.
like a class.
And then I also have to plan the booth that I'm not going to be at very much because, and if you know me, I'm a control freak. I have to set all this up and then hope that he and Jeff do it the way I would do it, which is it just doesn't happen.
Right.
But it'll be done great. But and then there's the stress of that. And then being on for the podcast and doing the live podcast because it's so awesome to do it. But then it's also everything that goes into all of that.
Yeah.
And then also preparing to go home to see
Oh,
my
right.
dad again,
Right.
see everyone. And then I just realized a few days ago that I didn't book a car.
Right.
Which is really important if I want to go
Little
anywhere once I get there. It was
bit.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
add that to the list and expenses and all of the above. So it's all great things. It's just a lot of preparation and I have an awesome, which I've kind of teased about it. But we're collabing with Melody from CMB.
That's right.
And so I got to go make those keychain thingy baggies for the collab.
Yeah.
And just lock this. The list is
The
long.
list is long.
But
if
just
you-
got to mark off one thing at a
And
time.
If you guys are going, and you feel free,
Yeah.
stop on by the booth.
Yeah.
Either ask me anything or come over to the Keychains thingies booth and say hi and
And the
introduce
podcast,
yourself. Yeah,
of course.
And then of course, if you're watching and are going, we're gonna do a live one.
If
there.
not, see you at the bar
yeah, we don't know
or
where.
bring me a drink.
We don't know where.
Whatever.
Yet, but we'll have a live out there.
Yeah.
And we need to get going. So with
do.
that, it's been another great
Bye.
episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.